do because it's
Blake Lively full of shit.
What I'm saying is the publicist said this also happened because people are so quickly to turn on a woman. That is something that is true.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Please like the video and subscribe. Our target is only 1,000 likes. So on Sunday, it was revealed that a 42-page lawsuit was filed by former Fox Sports hairstylist named Faraji, alleging workplace misconduct, naming Fox Sports executive Charlie Dixon, Skip Bayless, and Taylor as defendants. Faraji's allegations also included Skip Bayless offering Joy Taylor money for sexual favors. Additionally, the lawsuit accuses Taylor of having slept with Emmanuel Acho in order to advance her position within the network. On page 11 of the lawsuit, Faraji claims she spoke with Joy Taylor regarding her decision to sleep with Emmanuel Acho and Charlie Dixon, as it could have disastrous repercussions, to which Taylor allegedly dismissed any worries.
Do because it's
Blake Lively full of shit.
What I'm saying is the publicist said this also happened because people are so quickly to turn on a woman. That is something that is true.
Yeah.
It's the low hanging fruit. And we're seeing it happen right now. I just want to be particular the uphill battle that this does to a woman, specifically a Black woman in a male dominated field. There are very few women working in sports and even fewer Black women. Joy is one of the few Black women working in sports who has a coveted in-studio position. Most of the people you see who are Black women working in sports are on the sideline.
Sideline reporters.
You can count on one hand how many people are in studio, let alone hosting, leading a show in studio, talking about not just one sport, multiple sports. There's always been this stereotype about women in sports in male-dominated spaces, but we'll stick with sports, particularly in sports, where they're not qualified to have the positions that they have, that they're getting it because they're pretty, and those women are always having to prove their ability. They're having to show how talented, how knowledgeable they are, and they have to prove their track record constantly. Joy Taylor is somebody who's had to do that, and she is extremely knowledgeable about the sports that she discusses, and she's very talented. But now, with this complaint, she's got to defend her reputation because people are going to question that, because they're always looking for an excuse to question the ability of a woman to hold her own when it comes to sports, to sit at the table and talk with men about a sport that they may or may not have played and whether or not they can do it to the same level. Now she is being dragged on social media and questioned about her ability to do that when she's clearly qualified to, while the men are getting praised for not Skip. I'm talking about Emmanuel Acho. I'm talking about Charlie Dixon, are getting praised for their affiliation, that their alleged affiliation with her, and she's getting ripped apart in pieces. And this is what I believe this woman wanted, to turn the hand of the Joy being a named defendant in order to get her to settle. And it's a shame and it's ridiculous that Joy's getting, her image and brand is getting tarnished while other people are getting praised for it. It's ridiculous. And now she's being questioned. And I don't know. I hope that she's able to hold the position that she has and continue to be on the successful track that she's on. But it's really upsetting at how she is being dragged through the mud right now over these allegations, based on gender.
Well, I mean, for me, it's always interesting what people choose to believe when something is put in a lawsuit. If it's someone that you guys believe to be beyond the pale of wrongdoing, man, it's just bullshit, somebody lying. But people believe essentially what they want to believe. And part of the media game is giving people reasons to believe what it is that they want to believe.
It's also what's sexy to talk about.
And so what people want to believe is that women that are pretty women, are in the positions that they're in because they are pretty women.
Yep.
Not because they grinded the tape, not because they played the sport, but they're there because they're pretty women and they don't really have the chops to be where they're supposed to be.
Right.
So they had to suck somebody's dick to get there. And because that is an underlying patriarchal and a belief rooted in misogyny, then if you highlight things like this, then people will run with them.
Yep.
And they want to believe that. And they, like, even in this lawsuit alleges that Joy was hired on at FS1 because of her relationship with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And that she was just a bartender before then.
Right.
That's not true.
Not at all.
I mean, just you guys, I know it sounds, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. She was on the radio in Miami for
top
years.
Rated show.
Yeah, that's just not, that's not accurate. That's somebody's interpretation of things. That's just not true. And I know how y'all gonna react and all of that. That's not true.
It's not true. No.
And so, what I hope is that if we are to look inside of workplace relationships, we can never do too much of this. We can never do too much, never have too much conversation about workplace relationships, about the dynamics in the workplace, about how men and women and people should function inside of workplaces. We can't talk about it enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't been in one office where there wasn't a problem eventually with how people talk and relate to one another and stuff like that. So I am not in any way saying that Skip Bayless didn't harass this woman, that what happened to her on behalf of Charles Dixon didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to say that all of her back and forth with Joy, I can't say that Joy was her best self every time she dealt with this woman.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there.
Right.
Like I can't say that. I can't say that there was never anything that was done that was wrong. I can't say that. I can't say that Joy ain't a racist. She certainly ain't a sexist. And she is not the type of person to vindictively ruin someone based upon a personal falling out.
Right.
I just don't, whatever.
Let alone hosting, leading a show in studio, talking about not just one sport, multiple sports. There's always been this stereotype about women in sports that, or well, in male-dominated spaces, but we'll stick with sports, particularly in sports, where they're not qualified to have the positions that they have, that they're getting it because they're pretty, and those women are always having to prove their ability. They're having to show how talented, how knowledgeable they are, and they have to prove their track record constantly. Joy Taylor is somebody who's had to do that, and she is extremely knowledgeable about the sports that she discusses, and